In a dark world, remember to be the light. Welcome to our live broadcast.
That wasn't the one that I wanted. All right. Don't you love going live? That wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a different video. I wanted a different intro. So, actually, what I was going to do was put this up, and I pressed the wrong button. I put up this here. I was going to do this. Where is it here? I was going to put this up, grab some coffee, and then I just had to make a final couple of notes. And then it started playing, and I forgot that my pal Gary had a bunch of stuff queued up. He had the intro from last night all queued up, and I forgot to turn it off. That's okay. You know what? It's okay to be early. So grab yourself some coffee. The goal here is just to whip through the news as quick as possible and give you guys a little bit of an update. Perhaps you don't like doing all the digging. You don't like to read articles and all this kind of stuff. Well, this is eggnog, by the way. This is not coffee. It's eggnog. 'Tis the season. All right, so let us jump in. I'm only going to go about, what is it right now? 4:30? I'm only going to go to 5. So we're not going to go all day. These briefings, the idea behind it is to keep it brief. So let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into what's going on. So of course most of you might know this. The U.S. Mines are giving mines for Ukraine. So the question is, are these tools of defense or long-term chaos? The U.S. is supplying anti-personnel mines as part of a $725 million weapons package for Ukraine. And while the rationale is to boost Ukraine's defense, history teaches us that mines often outlast wars, and they become legacies of tragedy for civilians. And that was from an article from Reuters. This is from the Sun in regards to earthquake tremors. And of course, I'm going to put a bit of a black swan spin on everything. So some people might think this is a little negative, but I'm always looking at it from a black swan event perspective. Like, are some of the things that I'm talking about, could these trigger a potential black swan? So, for example, earthquake tremors, natural or a warning. So magnitude of 7.3, a 7.3 earthquake off the California coast triggered a tsunami. Let me read that again. A magnitude of 7.3 earthquake off the California coast triggered tsunami warnings. The frequency of seismic activity worldwide raises unsettling questions. Are we witnessing natural cycles or something more foreboding? That was from the Sun. On to the Temple Institute. The Temple Institute is trying to mint coins. Is this a symbol of redemption or control? The Temple Institute has minted coins celebrating Israel's independence and Trump's role in moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. Is this a marker of prophecy fulfillment or a step toward political manipulation cloaked in religious symbolism? And that's from the Temple Institute. AI breakthroughs. So is this humanity's assistant or its undoing? OpenAI's Sora creates text-to-video content, and Google's Gencast protects weather with uncanny accuracy. That is what's supposed to be behind this new text to video. It can predict weather up to 15 days. So, question is, are these advancements leading us toward enlightenment or dystopia where machines know more than we should? And this is, there are articles on Reuters and then also New York Post to talk about this. And then over to our side of the border in Canada, guns to Ukraine, is this philanthropy, or is this a proxy to war? Because Canada plans to send banned assault rifles to Ukraine. And if you're wondering, I learned this from my mom this morning. So she told me the news. She's up on this stuff, I'm telling you. Peaceful nation turning into an arms supplier feels like a strange twist. Are we fostering peace or feeding a larger beast? This is from Reuters. So question is, like, they're going after banned assault rifles in Canada, and they want to confiscate anyone that has one of these rifles that have been made illegal in the last, 5-10 years. And there are many people across Canada that said, no, I'm not turning in my gun because I bought it a long time ago or whatever it is. And they're just hanging on to it. Now the Canadian government is saying, cough them up, and we're going to put them in bins, and we're going to ship them to Ukraine because it's better in their hands than your hands. It's bizarre, right? That's from Reuters if you want to read up on that. Elon Musk, visionary or puppet master? You guys know from the content of my channel that I have people on my bookshelf, my imaginary bookshelf, where I basically place people like Donald Trump, leaders that say things funny that I'm like, oh, I like this guy, but I don't want to be tricked into anything. So I'm just putting the comments that they say on a shelf. And I do that with Elon Musk. I've read his autobiography. I like the guy. I like Donald Trump. I like JFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. I love all those people. I love them. But every once in a while, somebody says something and I just grab it. I put it on the shelf for later. So we have, of course, Elon Musk's involvement in Starlink and global affairs. This gives him unparalleled influence. His Starlink satellites are critical for Ukraine because as soon as Ukraine was invaded by Russia, Elon Musk actually donated tons of his Starlink satellites so that their army could actually rely on his satellites instead of their current or their existing network in Ukraine, which is interesting that Elon was a part of that to help Ukraine out right at the beginning. But his decisions feel more like a chess master moving pawns. And this is in BBC if you ever want to look up those articles. The Middle East, this is the Damascus question. The fragile Israeli Hezbollah ceasefire and Assad's regime collapse make Damascus a focal point, and believe you me, end time watchers, watchmen, watchwomen are going to be talking about Damascus to kingdom come, literally to Jesus comes back. This is like a hot ticket item. If you have a Black Swan channel like I do, anytime something like this happens, it's like ding, 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 ring the dinner bell because something interesting is happening in the world. And you could see all the watchers all over the place getting all excited about this stuff, right? So again, this is a focal point. Of course, people talk about Isaiah 17 because Isaiah 17 prophesies its ruin with this ancient city. Will this ancient city soon fall in a way history hasn't seen before? And there's an article about this in the Times. And again, I feel like in some ways we're seeing prophecy open up right in front of our very eyes. Like it's crazy, right? And then, of course, Zelenskyy, is he a hero or a symbol of something deeper? Zelenskyy's constant appeals for aid raises questions. Is he a wartime leader fighting for his people, or a figurehead in a broader geopolitical strategy? The question is, how do you get a nation that was considered, and this is known all over the place, that Ukraine at one point in history was known as one of the most corrupt nations on the planet. It's all over the place. So did Zelenskyy becoming the president, did all of a sudden they turn a new leaf? Or is this kind of thing deals, like, is Zelenskyy making deals under the table whenever he shows up? He was in France wearing his T-shirt, showing up to, like, it's so weird. Like, his interest level, I would like to check the numbers on his YouTube channel, because I think his numbers are going like this. Whenever there's something else going on in Israel, in Damascus, in the United States with the politics, man, the viewership for the U.S. during the U.S. election probably dove. And I think that's frustrating for Zelenskyy. Biden's leadership, intentional or clueless? Like, we know that he's donated, or he's allowed the use of these landmines, which are crazy, because the idea behind these landmines are they are supposed to last anywhere from hours to weeks, and then the batteries are supposed to die out, and they're not supposed to, like, if somebody were to step on them, like, let's say 2 months from now, they're not supposed to go off. But I can almost assure you that there's going to be landmines that will go off weeks, months, years from now, and it's going to be somebody that is innocent. That's the problem. And we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is hovering around 100K. Is this libertarian, or is this an illusion? Bitcoin surge past 100,000 reflects a shift in trust away from traditional systems, but as it thrives in digital networks, could it also become the chain that binds us to a new economic master? And I've been looking at other channels, and people are saying Bitcoin is actually going down. We'll see. Over to Israel, Temple Mount, tensions are rising. Renewed tensions on the Temple Mount as Israeli authorities enforce stricter policies for access. With the Third Temple movement gaining momentum, are we inching closer to events described in Daniel 9 and Revelation? This is from the Times of Israel. So if you think about it, I mentioned this in Josh's video this morning, his live stream with End Times Talk. I mentioned the idea that you can only come to two conclusions, really, when it comes to rebuilding the Third Temple. The first one is, if you are going to build that temple, it has to be on the Temple Mount. It can't be in Damascus, it can't be in Russia, it can't be in Ukraine, it can't be in America or Canada. It has to be in Jerusalem. Specifically, it has to be on that Temple Mount. Now, most scholars believe, including yours truly, I'm not a scholar, but I believe what the scholars say, and that is the Dome of the Rock was built over the foundation stone, where Isaac historically was known to have tried to sacrifice his son Isaac, and then a ram showed up, and then he didn't have to. He had to instead use a ram, but the Muslims believe it was actually Ishmael that was there, not Isaac. Regardless, everybody seems to agree that where the Dome of the Rock is, that's where the Third Temple should be built. Historically, that's where King Solomon's temple was, Ezra's temple, and then Herod's temple, and then also the third temple. So it's interesting, right? If you don't believe that, then you're going to have to say you have to slip it in a little bit to the left, or a little bit to the north, a little bit to the south, or in between. Like, you start getting crazy, right? Because there's really only two answers. If you're going to be building the third temple, it has to be where the Dome of the Rock is, which means tensions are going to increase. The Israeli army is actually protecting the Dome of the Rock. Their own people are protecting the Dome of the Rock from the Temple Institute. That they're not allowed to build their temple right there. And there are many Jews that are nervous about where they walk because they don't know. Again, if they don't believe the Holy of Holies is under the Dome of the Rock, they are fearful that they could step into the Holy of Holies unbeknownst to them and die. Right now, you could step in there and look at the foundation stone, which again is where the Holy of Holies was. I would not take a chance and step on the foundation stone. I would not. But in Daniel 9:27, it says that somebody's going to stand. And also Jesus mentioned that somebody is going to stand in the Holy of Holies. Well, if the Jews are afraid that the Holy of Holies exists, even though there isn't a temple, that there is a region where the Holy of Holies was, they don't want to step there. So to me, it makes complete sense that if somebody were to stand there and declare himself to be God, as God sitteth in his temple, this guy is going to mimic that very thing. And I have no problem in thinking that he could do that inside the Dome of the Rock. You don't need to get it destroyed. But there will be some Jews that will argue with me and say, no, Shane, you're wrong. We got to destroy the Dome of the Rock. They're in a real pickle. Russia and Iran strengthen alliance. Moscow and Tehran have deepened their ties with military exercises and energy deals. Ezekiel 38 mentions of a coalition led by Gog. Are we seeing these alliances in the form of real time? This is from Reuters. And a lot of people jump to Ezekiel 38 as soon as they see Russia doing anything like, there it is. It's right there. It's right there. All right, let's go to some of the comments here. Let's see what's going on here. Hi, Cindy Ray. Let's see if I can put this up on the big screen and see if I can see some of your comments here. I should have put this up already. But that's okay. All right. So let's see some of these comments here that are coming in. Let's see, what do we have here? Let's see. It was easier to believe God could rise Jesus from the dead prior to the 1900s than the nation of Israel could be reborn. I've heard that so many times. People are like, when they read that verse, like, could Israel be reborn? And usually people are referring to the dry bones as being prophecy where Israel was to come back into the land. Because in the prophecy in Ezekiel had a vision of a valley of dry bones. And then, of course, some of the people around him, because remember, he was not in Israel, he was in Babylon. And some of the leaders said, what does this vision mean? And basically, Ezekiel's response was, God has not given up on you yet. In fact, what he's going to do is he's going to use the two-stick prophecy, if you will, where he's going to bring back Ephraim, Joseph, the stick of Joseph and the stick of Judah, combine them together, and I will be their God and they will be my people. And I'm going to create a new covenant for them, not like I did with their forefathers. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to replace their stony heart with a fleshy heart, and my commandments are going to be in them. Well, wouldn't you know it, that is Christianity 101. As Jesus said himself, that there's no way to the Father unless you go through the Son, and vice versa. You can't go to the Son. You can't know the Father unless you know the Son. You can't know the Son unless you know the Father. We all know this stuff, but sometimes people get confused. All right, let's go to some more little news items here. The rise of CBDs, that is the central bank digital currency. This is the nations worldwide. Nations worldwide are accelerating efforts to launch CBDCs while marketed as modernizing finance. They raise concerns about the government surveillance and control over personal wealth, and that's from Financial Times. China's bold move in Taiwan. China has increased military flyovers over Taiwan, escalating tensions. Could this provoke a major conflict in the Pacific and trigger the wars and rumors of wars described in Matthew 24? BCATS is just saying that a 5.8 earthquake is in Nevada just now. I was actually in Nevada a couple of months ago. That was from Al Jazeera. Massive protests in France. Ongoing protests in France over pension reforms have paralyzed cities. Civil unrest grows globally. And is this a sign of the distress of nations spoken of in Luke 21:25? And there's an article about this in BBC News. Fukushima water discharge. Japan has begun releasing. This is kind of interesting. Japan has begun releasing treated water from the Fukushima plant in the ocean, sparking international backlash. Revelation 8:10, anyone? Speaking of the waters turning bitter, could this be a precursor? And this is from the article from the Guardian. So go check out the article in the Guardian. So think about this. There have been scientists that have said that when Fukushima, when their little power plant went down because of all the salt water and all this kind of stuff, they said that you could not inhabit that area for a very, very long time. Now they are releasing treated water into the ocean. Boy, if that doesn't, where's Greta? That's what I want to know. Where is Greta? I just want to know, because she should be going to Japan right now and say, no. Don't release toxic waste into the ocean. Don't do it. Yeah, if this doesn't talk about earth pangs, I don't know what else does. Food crisis deepening. Global food shortages worsen due to climate change or not. War and supply chain disruptions. Revelation 6:6 talks about this. Wars of famine. Are we seeing the early stages of this prophecy? And this is from the World Bank. Musk's Neuralink development. This is kind of interesting. Musk's Neuralink plans human trials to implant brain-computer interfaces. This technology feels eerily close to the mark described in Revelation 13. That's from The Verge. So I think this is a little bit older news, because I think he has I don't know how many patients he has now. And it's interesting that we're almost calling Elon Musk a doctor now, aren't we? That he's performing brain surgery on people. How are you feeling? I'm feeling pretty good, Dr. Musk. Thank you for caring so much. It's weird, right? Unusual celestial activity. Scientists report unusual solar storms and asteroid activity. Luke 21:11 warns of great signs from heaven. Are these cosmic events of signs of things to come? Question mark. And that's from NASA, so you can take that with a grain of salt. I'm just saying. Unusual celestial. I read that Temple Institute's Red Heifer program. We want to know about this, right? We're all thinking about what happened to it. It's basically after October 7th, it was like stopped of last year. 5 red heifers have been bred in preparation for potential temple sacrifices. Numbers 19 describes the significance of this ritual in Israel's purification. Is this another step toward prophecy fulfillment? And that's from the Jerusalem Post. So there you go. Hey, not bad. We did that in 25 minutes. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's see what I can see here about Nevada. Crazy. I don't know what it would like to be in an earthquake. That would be just crazy. Let's see what's going on here. A magnitude of 5.6 struck near Yerington, Nevada at 3:08. Wow, that was just like a couple hours ago. The tremor was felt across Lake Tahoe region and parts of Sacramento, California. Following the initial quake, aftershocks measuring 3.2 and 3.0 in magnitude occurred. The U.S. Geological Survey reported that the earthquake's epicenter was approximately 13 miles northeast of Yerington. The Nevada Seismological Laboratory at the University of Nevada, Reno is monitoring the situation and proving updates on the seismic activity in the region. Nevada is one of the most seismically, don't even know what that word means. Seismically. Sounds weird, right? Active states. It is the most active states in the U.S., okay? With a history of significant earthquakes, the state experiences thousands of quakes annually, though most are minor. So authorities are assessing the earthquake's impact, and residents are advised to stay informed through official channels. Wow, that is crazy news. Crazy news. Yeah, it sure looks like it. Like I would almost suggest that you could start packing your bags. You can start packing your bags. Like, it feels like we're that close. Like, if you think about it in regards to eternity, this is a blip. This is a blip. So it would not be wrong for you to start packing your bags. All right. Let's see here. We got a couple minutes here. Any other news that I missed? I think I got everything. I think I got everything. Let's see what here. Did you hear all of the hundreds of vials of viruses missing from a lab in Australia? I did not hear that. That's crazy. What do you think they're going to do with those vials? Talk to Josh from End Times Talk. He's got an answer for that. What else is here? Yeah, Derek. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where Derek lives, but I know Bob lives in Indiana, close to the. Yeah, I believe they do live close to the San Madrid fault line. That's kind of scary. I think I might be moving. I don't know. Bob, if you're watching, you should come to Canada, man. Come to the 51st state. Come to the 51st state. All right, let's see here. Do you know there's another YouTube channel with the exact same name as Icon? No, as my channel? I don't think there's another channel like Black Swan. I think there's only one Black Swan channel. Let's see here. I know there could be copycats. Like I've seen people actually reuse my videos and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, whatever. That's fine. I have no problem with people sharing. But as far as I know, I do not think there is another copy. People used to mistake my channel for the Watchman River. I used to say, Jane, you look a lot like him, or vice versa. Tom, Cody looks a lot like you. And I could see the resemblance a little bit. I could see a little bit of the resemblance between me and Tom. He has gray hair, very little. I have glasses. And if I drive a truck or if I park by a river and I have a hat on and I grow my beard, I think I could be I think I could be like a twin. I think I could be like his twin. I really think so. All right, let's see here. Oh, that's funny. I have my Raptor Cloud jammies on. Perfect. Perfect. Let's see what else here. Alaska, you're safe. If you're in Alaska, you're safe. What could possibly go wrong in Alaska? Nothing, right? Invasions. You know, there's only a few countries that can come across from into Alaska. All right, so that's it. Man, we kept this tight. It's like 31 minutes. Amazing, amazing. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Really appreciate you guys. And so whenever you see a thumbnail of a briefing like this, that's the idea behind it, is to keep it about 30 minutes. And we're going to try and just pound through a bunch of news articles as quick as possible, just so you guys can get up to date. And then if you want, you can go look up those news articles at your own leisure. But the idea is to have a bit of a conversation, share my thoughts as to what's happening in the news as it unfolds. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye for now.
Black Swan Revelations here on YouTube brought you today's mind-bending journey. Dive into the discussion, your comments, questions, prayer requests, and powerful testimonies of Jesus' love are what fuel this community. Did today's episode hit home? Smash that like button. New here? Subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss a live stream or a video upload. Thanks for being part of today's adventure. Catch you in the next video, or maybe even in the clouds. Stay curious, stay blessed.